Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be going over, oops, that is way too big. In this video, I'm going to be going over X-linked recessive versus X-linked dominant and how this transmission occurs. So this is going to be a very quick, short video just showing you how to differentiate these two, because I know I kept getting confused by this when I was learning. So let's say we have mom and we have dad, and they're going to have a son and or let me write it this way. They're going to have a daughter and a son. So what are the sex chromosomes for a female? If you said XX, you are right. And for a male, XY. So when the next generation, aka the offspring of this mom and dad, come to be, they're going to get one sex chromosome from their mom and one sex chromosome from their dad. So the daughter is going to get one X from the mom, the other X they're going to get from their dad. And for the son, they're going to get an X from their mom, but instead of the X from their dad, they're going to get the Y from their dad because the male genotype is going to be XY. So that's just what you need to know, and you can figure out X-linked dominant versus X-linked recessive. So let's start with recessive. So recessive, we know, means that you have to have, both alleles have to be the mutated form in order to have the disease. So if it was this, you would not have the disease because you only have one lowercase r, which is the recessive mutation. And if you have this, of course you won't have the disease because there's no mutation allele, so there's no little r in that genotype. So let's say that our dad has this r. So now the thing about males is that if they even are having the lowercase r, only one is enough to get the disorder. So this is X-linked recessive. They have the lowercase r, but they're still going to have the disorder because they only have one X chromosome. So if they have a mutation on the X chromosome, then they have the disorder. Now, the dad is going to give his X to the daughter, if we remember. So now the daughter is going to have one lowercase r. And let's say that the mom is not a carrier and doesn't even, let's just say the mom is normal. We are going to get the normal X from the mom. So what we see here is that the daughter is not affected with the disease, but the daughter has the lowercase r on one of the X chromosomes. So the daughter is going to be a carrier. So in X-linked recessive, daughters of affected fathers are going to be carriers. And son, let's look at the son. Is it possible for the son to get this from their dad? If you just look at the chart that I made. The answer is no, because the son is only getting the Y chromosome from the dad. The son is only getting the Y chromosome from the dad, and the X chromosome is coming from the mom. And the mutation lies on in this example at least, the mutation lies on the X chromosome of the dad only. So there's going to be no father-to-son transmission. And while there could be examples in which the mom is a carrier or the mom also has a mutation, also is homozygous for the recessive trait, we can have all of those different examples, in which case the son would get affected, but they would be affected because it's coming from the mom, not because it's coming from the dad. So in X-linked recessive disorders, there is no father-to-son transmission. And you can use that same rule for X-linked dominant because the son will never get an X chromosome from their dad. They'll only get the X chromosome from their mom and the Y chromosome from their dad. So that's X-linked recessive. Now let's go over X-linked dominant. So in this example, we are just going to, I'm going to use a different color. Before we said this was lowercase r, right? We're going to make this a big R. Because this is a dominant trait, it's going to be written in capital letters. So even if it's like this, even if you only have one of the mutated alleles, you are still going to have the disease. If you have both, you're obviously going to have the disease. In contrast, before when we went over recessive, only way to have the disease if you're homozygous for the recessive trait. Okay, so let's say that we're going to just take mom out of the picture for now. We're just going to say she has regular X chromosomes. The dad is carrying the disease now, and it is a X-linked dominant disease. So the dad is going to give this big R to his daughter. And since the mom is normal, we're just going to give her lowercase r's. We're just going to pretend the mom is normal. And we're going to get a lowercase r from the mom. So even though we got the normal X chromosome from the mom, we got a mutated one from dad. And because it is X-linked dominant, the daughter will have the disease. So in X-linked dominant, the difference here is that because it is a dominant trait, if only one allele expresses that trait, the offspring will have the disease. So we're going to have the disease. And in this case, the son is getting the X chromosome from mom, which is normal, a Y chromosome from dad, which is also normal. Same thing again, no father to son transmission because the son is not getting the X chromosome from the dad, only from the mom. So if we go over here, in X-linked dominant, daughters of affected fathers are always going to be affected. Why? Because they are getting the mutated allele, which is dominant from the dad. So even if they get the regular allele from the mom, the dominant mutation will take over and they will have the disease because they are heterozygous dominant. And of course, if the mom happened to be a carrier, then the daughter would have the disease anyways as well because now we are homozygous dominant. So I hope that made sense, and I hope that if you kind of try to draw out this chart, you won't have to memorize X-linked recessive versus X-linked dominant. You'll kind of just understand how it works, and that will help you on exams. Thanks for watching.